Good morning, class. So today we are going to part today start the multinational, the importance and growth of the multinational companies. So here they are going to start the second part of this lesson because the last week we talked about the growth of multinational firms. What are the reasons, the importance of growth of multinational firms, and why the features of multinational firms, how multinationals develop. We talk about three reasons. There are main reasons why multinational companies are developed. Those are economies of scale, marketing, and technical and financial superiority. Like these are the main reasons why multinational companies are developed. Economies of scale, because when they operate at large scale, they can get economies of scale. Benefits are there when you operate in the organization at a large scale. Then you have the economies of scale is there. That is, average cost can be reduced when you operate at a large scale. I mean, if you operate in large as a large organization, you can purchase bulk. So bulk purchase discount you have, and also when you operate in a large scale, then you have the benefits like financial benefits are there, and also we have marketing benefits are there, marketing economies of scale or marketing benefits like a whole world you can do the marketing. So then that marketing one marketing campaign can get the like a benefit to the entire world. And also technical superiority, they can use the new technology and stuff, high tech you can use, high investment you can use. And also financial superiority, yes, of course, not like operating in one country. If you're operating in multiple countries, then you'll be able to actually produce this one in an organization in a way that you can financially you are very strong enough, because a lot of organizations operating, you can see the company like Coca-Cola, Unilever, Tata, their revenue like exceed like 100 billion US dollars. Like Tata company, they are 2016, like 100 billion US dollar revenue they passed, right? So now, and also we talk about what are the main benefits to a company of becoming a multinational firm. So we talk about mainly there are five benefits of becoming a multinational firm. First one, we can achieve large customer base, large number of customers we can have. For example, look at the Coca-Cola. They are saying that daily they are selling about 2 billion bottles, 2 billion Coca-Cola, Pepsi, 2 billion Fanta. They are all products. Sometimes can be water bottles. So they are selling 2 billion customers they are daily serving. So imagine the number of customers. Imagine the amount of production they have to require to support. Right? This is there, and also the lower the cost that is also there is increased because as a result of economies of scale, multinational firms can actually reduce the cost of the organization. Their average cost they can reduce. As a result of that, they can have advantages also. Another one is a higher profile. Yes, multinational firms have higher profile in the media compared to other firms like sole traders and partnerships and private limited companies. Multinational is always in the set in the always higher in the rank. Multinational firms actually we can set those are the always high profile companies, like one of Coca-Cola, one of Tata, and then Unilever company, Nestle company. Like that's a big organization, large organization, multinational firms. It's like a collection of like 100 private firms. You can see sometimes more than that, no? But 100. No? So these are the advantages. And also we talk about the another thing is a multinational, being a multinational company is a method to avoid trading barriers. Yes, being a multinational firms, you can actually avoid the trading barriers of an organization. Organize some countries actually they have some restriction. The like countries like USA and China, there are trade barriers always against other countries, and also countries against like North Korea. They're not giving any access to any other country to come and operate in their country like that. Avoiding to avoid trade barriers, they have to have being a multinational is the best thing, because then you can operate in another country. Then that company become their own like a local company, and then you can enjoy all the tax benefits and everything in that particular company. And also finally talk about the lower taxes. Yes, even tax advantages also there when you're operating in a multinational company in several other countries. The tax benefit also there. You can actually pay lower tax to the government because of the you are a foreign direct investment, foreign business. So as a result, a lot of government like to offer tax benefits, and multinational can reduce the amount of tax they pay on their profit by basing their head offices in the countries where taxes are lower. Some low tax countries also there, they can do there, and also especially for multinational companies, lot of countries are they like to give permission because of the advantage that the country can benefit. Okay, okay. Here now we'll look at the what are the advantages. We'll finally I think we talk about that. There are main advantages are there by becoming a multinational firm. You have certain advantages to the country. Example, if by allowing Coca-Cola in Sri Lanka, we have some certain advantage in Sri Lanka, and we have certain advantages are there to the Sri Lanka. So what we have, so by being a multinational company, from multinational company, we talk about there are certain benefits to a country of becoming a multinational is, increasing income and employment. These things we talk about. So, this country, for example, our GDP, our national income will increase also. Our employment level also it increase. The level of the employment also increase as a result of the job opportunities can gain because of the multinational firms. They are operating at large scale, and also increasing tax revenue. That's another advantage for the government of the country. For example, Sri Lankan government, tax revenue they can gain. The increasing tax revenue is another advantage, and also increasing export. Talk about that. The country's export can be increased as a result of the multinational firms. They develop the manufacture and then they export to other countries. As a result of that, it's increase the export income of that country, particular country, which again increase the foreign, no, like now import and export procedure will be strengthened up. Balance of payment, everything export income is good for the country because foreign currency inflow is happening is there. And also another thing is transfer of technology. Yeah, foreign technology, American technology, British technology, right? German technology. So a lot of Western economies, LIC countries are the normally they have like a normally like a least developed countries, low income countries. The other one they have very like a technology not that much developed. But high developed countries, we call them high developed countries or HICs, high income countries. They have a very good technology like robotics or like the drone system or genetically modified crops or sometimes this special efficient methods of everything harvesting, technical item, industrial waste, service sector, everything. So this transfer of technology can be happen to the HIC to LIC is another advantage to country by giving allowing permission to multinational firms. However, there are certain other advantage of multinational firm is you can see the improvement in the quality of human capital. The improvement in the quality of human capital. If you are working in a multinational firm, it increase the employability of you and it increase the quality and the employability of the capacity. The organization by employing in an organization in a multinational firm, you will be able to uh, increase your skills also and your employability because of their experience. You can work in any country in the world because of that, because they identify you, okay, I'm a very good person, like a person who works in a McDonald's in Sri Lanka, they can work in any McDonald's in worldwide. Person who work in KFC branch in Sri Lanka in a franchise international firm, they can work in anywhere in the world, any KFC anywhere in the world, because they know everything. The unique products are there, product range is similar, the customer service is similar, right? The working environment is similar, so therefore they can easily work. So improvement of the quality of the human capital, that was another advantage of by allowing multinational firms into their country. And finally, talk about the enterprise development is another benefit of being a multinational firm. Enterprise development automatically happen. That means a subsidiary organization, other like around your organization. If you are a multinational firm started, imagine that organization, several organization will be also benefit houses, individuals, what by transport service, by providing a housing service, by providing food and shelter, and textiles, no, everything, food, clothes, shelter, and sometimes cinema, jewelry shops, shopping malls, everything you will get the benefit of that. By a multinational company will give job opportunities for thousands of people, and they have needs and wants. Those needs and wants will be satisfied by the other supporting service, and also not only that, sometimes other suppliers also they can actually assist them. They can register the multinational company like the okay register suppliers. They can provide their supply to the multinational firm. They can provide like a third party suppliers are there. For example, let's say a Coca-Cola company, we can provide a service of, let's say, a transport service, or okay, agency service. If you have a warehouse, you can become a Coca-Cola agent, right? So let's say I know a person like they have a huge warehouse in Jaffna, right? So he's a Coca-Cola agent for Jaffna district. So there for all the Coca-Cola company, the containers of bottles, they go and deposit it there, then store there, and then from him, he has delivery vehicles. He distribute all over the northern side of the country. So like that, so you have other enterprise development, other third-party business also, they will benefit out of it. Okay, these are the things that we talk about. The previous lesson that so far we recap the previous lesson. Let's go to today's lesson. Today I want to teach you about the what are the possible drawbacks of multinational firms to the economy. There are not only advantages, disadvantages also there. In evaluation question, you should be able to see the both sides of this thing, multinational firms, good side and the bad side. Today we talk about all the bad side of multinational firms, and how this going to be impacted to economy and the people, individual, environment, and everything. Right. So environmental damage, in the sense we're talking about multinational firms, the possible drawbacks, in the sense we are starting with the environmental damage. So environmental damage mean being a multinational firms, they are very uh, they are doing so much of economic activities. You know, they are using water, they are using the air, they are using the soil. Sometimes extracting raw materials from the nature. Yeah? So everything. Sometimes they need timber, like uh, like organization like IKEA. Yeah? Coca-Cola, they extract water. Sri Lanka, we have plenty of water supply. That's why Sri Lanka, they operate in near Kalani River in Vietnam. So they have operating the Coca-Cola company there. You can see recently, like a couple of years ago, they have some charges by Sri Lankan government to actually leaking diesel to the river. There are some diesel pumpers leak, and the water in the Kalani River was polluted, and they fined 1 billion Sri Lankan rupees. So only just one small example, right? So you can see there are several other examples are there in the world, which we can see the victims of the environmental damage. You can see once there was a Bhopal gas disaster in India, and Chernobyl disaster, right? And the Exxon Valdez case. These are good examples. You can see the worldwide how multinational firms will damage the environment, right? For example, in Exxon Valdez case, the oil tank oil was actually affecting, uh, and then as a result of that, the lot of companies attack a lot of sea animals and everything. So a lot of environmental damages happen as a result of that incident. Okay, let's look at the some video about the Exxon Valdez thing, and we'll talk that lesson again. Let's look at this video, and let's watch this video and see what kind of environmental impact, environmental damage done by the Exxon Valdez company. Right? This is the article, you can see.
An oil tanker ran aground today off the nation's northernmost ice-free port, Valdez, Alaska.
One of the worst oil spills in U.S. history brought Americans images of blackened beaches, dying wildlife, outrage, and betrayal.
The evidence is that the response was slow and inadequate.
Blame soon centered on the tanker captain.
It is now clear that the captain of the tanker, who was not on the bridge at the time of the accident, had been drinking.
But the accident also exposed the inattention to oil industry safety and led to promises to repair the damage that had been done.
We will consider whatever it takes to keep you whole.
And to do more to stop future spills.
We also rededicate ourselves to transportation safety and to realistic planning for accidents that do occur.
Nearly 25 years later, what happened to the promises made in the wake of the Exxon Valdez?
The Gulf spill might already be as much as 3 times worse than the Exxon Valdez disaster.
One of America's most magnificent waterways. This had all been promised within 6 hours, and
we're either underusing all available resources, but it argues the spill is simply too big to surround with booms and skim it up.
As images of the spill appeared on the evening news, Exxon began limited tests of chemical dispersants to try to break up the oil. The dispersants were controversial, and it was unclear if they would work or cause even more harm.
The chemicals that you use to cause the oil to sink is very dangerous to marine life, and we have to be certain that we cause a minimal amount of damage.
But it was soon too late to matter.
Winds up to 70 miles an hour virtually shut down the oil spill cleanup operation this morning.
The storm had come up and the oil was moving, and almost nothing could be done.
Some crews are literally on their knees using absorbent towels to remove the oil from rocky beaches.
Less than 15% of the oil was recovered. News cameras captured the damage
800 miles of shoreline already covered with oil.
and the anger.
This should have been the easiest spill in the world to clean up.
Growing questions about how future disasters of this kind can be prevented, and why there was such a slow response to this spill.
Yeah, so you can see, guys, this is a very good, nice example. The Exxon Valdez case study that happened in 1980s. So at that time, what happened? 1989, there was a oil tanker was damaged the coast of the Northern America, and as a result of that, millions of sea life, marine life actually was destroyed, including the fish, including the whales, including the otters and fish, and so much of sea life. You can see the damage. You can see that caused by the oil tank. So Exxon Valdez is a multinational company, right? So that's one reason. You can see Sri Lanka, like a couple of months ago, Sri Lanka also faced this kind of a situation, but luckily we actually able to control that situation with much effort of the Sri Lankan the Navy and all other forces. You can see that was another oil tanker ship. There was a accident happen. There was a fire happen. As a result, oil started to spill. That's happened in the Trinco and Arugambe side. So if it happened, I think Sri Lanka, that will be the end of Sri Lankan tourism. That will be the end of Sri Lankan tourism then, and the oil will be there everywhere spread out. So, but luckily we'll be able to control the situation, control the damage, and we'll be able to take that ship out of the sea boundary. So that's one reason. You can see there are many examples like that in the world. You can see the Bhopal gas strategy, Chernobyl gas is also like that. They're environmentally damaged. There is very so not only this case study. So a lot of cases are there. In my handout, I have mentioned these things in the multinational firms and everything. So please go through the final part, the last page. All the stories are there. So what you have to mainly actually understand is the environmental damage is bad for a country and multinational company. You can see mainly as a multinational company, you can see the first one they are doing is this is the first one. So increase the damage in the environment. Environmental damage is the pollution factor you can talk about. You can criticize when you're actually evaluating a question like multinational. So you can see in a page number 77, you can see environmental damage done by the multinational firms. Here, a lot of multinational companies actually extracting industries such as coal, oil, gold mining, and everything. They are destructive, very always damaging the environment. There are multiple examples are there. So just Google it and see. There are so much of example are there. Like Bhopal gas strategy. I would like to talk about it a little bit. It's India. That happened in Bhopal gas strategy, Union Carbide Chemical Company. In the early morning, because of the gas explosion happened in there. As a result of that, 3-kilometer radius, and more than 2,000 people were died because of the gas explosion. The methane gas leaked to the air, and as a result of that, it's actually the midnight, and then people were actually was asleep, and then everyone was what happened. They were died. Not only human, animals, right? Cattle, dog, everyone was died at the end of the day. In the morning, more than 2,000 people was actually they gone. They actually passed out. So as a result of that, you can see this kind of damages were caused by multinational companies. The environmental damage, and even still also you can see that still genetically genetic disorders are there in those countries, that area, in that Chernobyl situation. Sometimes they are leaking some kind of chemicals to the water accidentally. This is not purposely, right? Once a Coca-Cola company, one of the liquid, the Coca-Cola like a bus, like a container was fell into a paddy field of China. The entire paddy field was damaged. The crop and everything, the entire land was contaminated with that chemicals. So this is a situation. So environment damage is one of the biggest challenge for multinational companies nowadays, but they have measures in future to avoid these things. They have to take some serious measures for taking and taken, and they're continuing actually vigilant about these things. And secondly, exploitation of the less developed countries. The second, a major disadvantage of coming from the multinational is the exploitation of the major countries. Like a lot of actually health politicians and a lot of people, pressure groups and everything, they are telling always exploitation of less developed countries, which means some multinationals may encourage the developing countries to rely on the product producing primary product, right? They risk because the prices of primary product can change sharply. Okay? And also multinationals often pay like a low wages. You can see some companies like Foxconn in China, and then they are the one who assemble iPhones and everything in Vietnam, right? So Philippines, and also not only that, even sometimes some stores in Walmart and all, you can see they're charging very low prices. They're giving very only minimum wage only for their workers to in order to comply with the government standard. Therefore, they're not paying a good salary for the workers. That's another point. The exploitation of the labor. Some companies were found out they're using even child labor. Child labor, for example, good example can see the CK or Nike. They found out that they are using to manufacture their items. They are outsourcing to third world countries, and these countries, their shops, and Chinese and Vietnam and all the sometimes in Thailand, they are using child labor in their factories. And also taxes paid to the host nation often minimal. That's another thing. They are not paying a good tax income because they are avoiding taxes. They have some system to do that. They are not paying. They are paying only minimal tax to the government. And also, as little as possible, it put back the country because this would reduce the amount of profit made by the multinational. As little as possible is put back into the country because it would be reduce the amount of profit made by the multinational. That means this is we call the kind of repatriation of profit, right? They are repatriate, they are sending back their profit to the head office, back to the USA. So as a result, what happened? They actually not giving 100% profit they made in that country to Sri Lanka. The profit in Sri Lanka they are taking back to the USA. That's what happened. As a result of that, so our country will get only few things, like a small amount of wages, minimum wages, and also small amount of tax income to the government. But majority of, but 80% of the income they are going to expect repatriated to the host country, the guest country they are coming from. They are the head offices in the USA or UK or whatever. So like that, this is called exploitation. You can see the second disadvantage drawback is exploitation of the less developed countries in terms of labor and in terms of the monetary, financially. Another disadvantage of multinational thing, as I told you, the repatriation problem, the repatriation of profit part. All the profit made by the multinational companies, they are actually repatriated back to the country where they come from. This means profit are returned to the country where they origin, where they're based, and their headquarters. As a result, the host country loses out, and it can be argued that multinational bring more benefits to the developed countries than they are less than the developed host countries like that. So they actually, that's why whatever the project you are starting, they are coming to Sri Lanka, they are coming to any other country, not because of the benefits, right? Because of the income they can earn, right? We can see a long time ago, this case happened in Haiti. Haiti is there in the near to America, right? And then near Cuba, there was a small island called Haiti. So what is the most important thing of Haiti? The people, they don't know anything, right? They have the most important element is their titanium is there in their soil, but they don't know how to use that. They don't have enough income, but they have very good culture. But what happened? Americans, they want to friendly way. They're asking, can you sell your this titanium thing for us? We like to pay. But they were not willing to give their lands to the American companies to extract their resources. Why? What's important of titanium? They can use it to build the planes. Then sometimes they are using those titanium in some parts of the watches they are manufacturing. But Haiti people, they don't like to give their soil, their resources to USA. As a result, what happened? They're affecting American. Actually, they can see now Haiti, they were invaded by American in different way. right? Politically, and you can say they change the system. So as a result of that, a lot of countries, they actually affect the young generation, young children. They stop going to school. They actually change a small law change. They say the going to school is not that much important. And as a result of that, what happens sometimes then the young generation become uneducated, and then as a result, you can see later on, it will take some time, and as a result, what happens? Their countries become too much of debt, and as a result of that, there was at the end they had to sell the lands and they had to give their resources to USA. Like that. So repatriation is another thing. See, actually, sometimes they argue a lot of people. This multinational is a kind of like it's a novel invasion. Those days, British and other countries they conquer the developed countries and less, like a countries like Sri Lanka and like India and all that thing by force. But nowadays, because of the multinational firms, they actually able to come and they actually able to actually expatriate these resources. They want to capture the resources and then they can able to sell that thing to their countries and make their profits, and their profit, the financial benefit, anyway they are taking out from the country, taking out from us. So it's another thing, repatriation of the profit, right? So repatriation definition is here. You can see where the multinational returns a profit from the overseas venture to the country where it is based, typically from developing country to a developed country, right? Developing country to developed country, right? And finally, disadvantage, lack of accountability. The organizations argue that because multinationals are large and powerful, they lack accountability. This means that they may be able to evade the law, especially in countries where the government is weak or corrupt. Also, multinationals may be keener to operate where regulations is insufficient or non-existent. However, pressure groups may monitor multinationals. This helps to improve accountability. This is their lack of accountability part. Right? So these are the main disadvantages we discussed today. The environmental damage they are doing, the exploitation of the less developed countries. Sometimes they're using the extracting so much of resources, and at the end, sometimes extracting too much of water, then there is no water to paddy fields, no water for farmers. Extracting all the timber and everything, then cutting down trees. Then what happens? There is no shelter, and then there sometimes they're taking too much of the reserves, like the soil. Sometimes the metal part. You can see the Indonesia and everything. They are giving out there too much of resources to USA and all the countries to. There are a lot of there's too much of like that. Indonesia has too much of resources, so much of resources. You can see metal part and everything. So these first countries are normally extracted and exploited by multinational firms. And also repatriation part we talk about, and also lack of accountability section also another disadvantage. We talk about main four disadvantages of multinational firms. So that all about the multinational firm. You can see. Do you know in one high profile example in the impact of multinational is oil spill and waste dumping have seriously damaged the agricultural land in Niger Delta in Nigeria. According to Amnesty International, this was taken away the livelihood of many locals in the area. Okay. Now I'm asking this MCQ part. Which of the following is a benefit to business of becoming a multinational? Which of the following is a benefit to a business of becoming a multinational? You can see Ranusha. Okay, what is the answer for this? You can answer A, B, C, or D. Benefit of business become multinational. You can use the chat line. You can, if you know the answer, you can type. Which of the following benefit to business of becoming a multinational? Ability to offer more personal services, diseconomies of scale, improved cash flow, access to wider market. Right? Okay, answers are coming. Yeah, the answer is D, correct. Access to wider market. Okay, question number 2 I'm asking from Ammar. Which of the following is a benefit to a nation that hosts a multinational? Benefit to a country. High tax revenue, high interest rate, lower levels of government spending, less competition.
Less competition.
Benefit to government is not less competition. Benefit to government is high tax revenue. They can increase the tax revenue from the multinational. Okay. Part C, I'm asking from Kiara. Which of the following is a possible disadvantage to a nation that hosts multinational? transfer of technical knowledge, higher inflation, less competition, the possible exploitation of workers. Kiara. Yes, answers are coming from chat line. Yes, answer is correct. The possible exploitation of workers. Correct. Okay. Question number 4. Which of the following is a means by which some multinationals may avoid accountability? Okay, I'm asking this question from Saranya Fernando. Saranya, which of the following means by which some multinationals may avoid accountability? How they avoid accountability? Ignore the wishes of shareholders, attempt to evade the manipulate the law, spend less on marketing, reduce their prices to exploit the power. What is a way of avoiding their accountability? Saranya? Yeah, multinationals may avoid accountability. You can see there are certain things they are doing. So, lack of accountability. They are doing that thing. They are playing their large, powerful play. They are doing how they do. They so large and powerful. They are able to evade the law. How they evade the law? Attempt to evade or manipulate by law. That's a B is the answer. Attempt to evade or manipulate the law. That's called the their multinational power they're using. How they attempting? How they manipulating the law? Because they have that power, multinational power is there. They have that charm, the financial power, financial supremacy. They actually influence the politicians, the political parties, and then what happens? The politicians has to work according to their agenda. So then that what their small rules they are going to implement. Lack of accountability means like that they wanted to evade the law by uh, especially the corrupted countries like weak government and corrupted countries they are doing this, and then they're keen to operate their like try to change the regulations and everything, and sometimes they regulations and accountability and everything they are doing they try to change the law, but pressure groups they always try to monitor these things. Multinationals pressure groups are there created, whatever the country peoples are there to protest. Some organizations, social organizations are there to give some kind of a pressure group, some pressure to the multinational firms. All right, so we talk about the multinational firms, disadvantages, we talk about the features of the multinational firm, we talk about the main advantage of multinational firms to them and to the economy, as well as what are the drawbacks of multinational firms. We talk about those 5 drawbacks today, mainly environmental damage they are doing and exploitation of less developed countries, and repatriation of profit and lack of accountability, right? So yeah,